Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aubrey. So today we are going to continue the book haul from last week. So we are going to go through the rest of the books that I got during the month of May, starting with the ones I got from Books A Million and going from there. So I am going to just go ahead and send you back to past Aubrey and we'll get right into it. Alright, so that's book outlet done. So now let's move on to all of the books that I got from Books A Million this month. So they did have a manga sale, which was all volumes were 25% off or 30% off. It was something like that. So it actually made them cheaper than they are on Crunchyroll. So I did take advantage of that. So you'll see I have some manga here to show you. The first one is Volume 3 of A Sign of Affection by Sue Morishita. I do have Volumes 1 and 2 of this. I haven't started reading it yet, but Volume 3 was out of stock on Crunchyroll, and then I saw it on Books A Million with the manga sale, so I was like, yes. Worked out very well. A Sign of Affection, we follow, what is her name? Yuki, who is deaf. And one day she meets Itsuomi, and he kind of likes her. I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure he likes her. Not that she knows this. But he is like very well traveled. He is, I think, interested in languages, but he doesn't know sign language. So he asks Yuki to help him to learn sign language, and the relation kind of blossoms from there. So I'm really excited to read this one. It looks really cute. I've heard so many lovely things about it and about the anime, which has started fairly recently. So now that I have Volume 3, because with manga I do like to kind of read through several volumes together, because they do tend to be fairly short. So now that I have Volume 3, I'm going to read these 3 all together, and I'm very excited to try this. And then, if you've seen my previous book hauls, you know that I have been collecting all of the volumes of Black Butler that are out so far. And so, during the Books A Million manga sale, I did take advantage and go ahead and finish that endeavor. So I do have a number of volumes to show you, and they do fill in all of the gaps that I had. So there are 32 volumes of Black Butler out currently. Volume 33 is up for pre-order at the moment. And so I got the last chunk I needed to be caught up. So we have Volume 20, 21, 23, 25, 26, 27, 31, and the most recent volume that has released, Volume 32. So, Black Butler is a series by Yana Toboso. I've talked about it before, but I'm actually currently reading the manga. I've read the first 7 volumes or 8 volumes. And I really, really like it. I have seen the anime before, and so I kind of like the arc that I'm in currently is still within where the anime had gotten to before it went on hiatus, and it's recently come back, the anime has. So I'm very excited to get to where the new season or arc is beginning so that I can watch the anime as well. But I had never read the manga before, and I'm really, really enjoying reading it because, as with most anime adaptations of manga, they do leave stuff out in the anime. And with Black Butler, there are some things that they actually changed. I'm currently in the Book of Circus arc, and it's so depressing. It's so depressing. I'm like at the end of it, so I guess I'm in Volume 8, I think. Because that arc is about to wrap up. And again, I have seen that in the anime, so I did know what was going to happen. But there were a couple things that were different. Not like major things, but I just really like reading the manga because just like when you have a book that's been adapted into a TV show or movie, the details sometimes have to be abandoned in places, like not included little side bits and extra things, just for the sake of time and budget. So I really am enjoying reading the manga, but essentially we follow a boy named Ciel Phantom Hive, who I don't think is on any of these covers. Oh, he is. Okay. Well, kind of is. Okay, anyway, we follow a boy named Ciel Phantom Hive, who at the start of the series is 12. He has become the earl of his, like, he has inherited the earldom of his family, after his family was killed in a very horrific, tragic way. He himself suffered through horrific things that no one should have to go through, much less a 10-year-old child, and then suddenly reappeared with a butler in tow after everyone had thought that he was dead. His butler's name is Sebastian, and he is not human. He is actually a demon who was summoned as a result of these horrific things that Ciel was being forced to go through and endure, and created a contract with Ciel so that Sebastian will serve him and do his bidding and take care of him and help him to achieve his goals. And at the end of this contract, he will get Ciel's soul. So, it's like a really, really dark premise, and there are so many dark things that happen in the series. Like, please be careful if there is anything that could trigger you. Like, maybe look at the trigger warnings, because it deals with a lot of really awful things, and some of them at the part that I'm at have not necessarily been outright confirmed, but like they're pretty heavily implied. Also, pretty much everyone in the series is morally gray except for like Agni, maybe, and Finny, although Finny, I think his morals just kind of align with like, be kind when you can and take care of the people who you care about. But I love Finny. Finny is like one of my favorite characters. This is Finny, by the way. He's adorable. But so many of the characters are like just so morally gray. And obviously we have this premise of like Sebastian taking Ciel's soul eventually, but I'm not going to get into it too much because I am going to do a wrap up in June so look forward to that. I do read my books and I'm going to talk about the ones I've read recently. And I don't know if I'll talk about Black Butler then actually, because I kind of want to set up the wrap up like quarterly, but I'll talk about that later. It's like this kind of awful setup, but I think that Sebastian, especially in the manga, is much more, like, he's much less evil? I don't know if I'm describing that right. Like, in the first season of the anime, he seems a lot more, a lot less kind towards Ciel and than he does in the manga, and I think that later on it kind of like when they made the later seasons and the later arcs, like Book of Circus and Book of Murder and Book of the Atlantic, which I haven't gotten into Book of Murder or Book of the Atlantic in the manga yet, but Book of Circus at least seems to match more closely as far as Sebastian's personality. But again, they leave out so many little things where he does show almost this like glimpse of emotion and humanity in different ways, which I really appreciate. But anyway, back to kind of the premise is like, Sebastian is obviously not human, and he is capable of so many inhuman feats. So he is like the ultimate butler, right? And so he helps Ciel to kind of like police. So Ciel's family, their kind of like legacy is that they help to police the underworld, so the parts of society that are not necessarily part of like polite society in Victorian England, under like the Queen's bidding. So Ciel is now doing that, and Sebastian helps him with that while also serving as his butler. So we deal with a lot of like shady stuff going on and being involved in these like underground politics and stuff, and it's so, but you also see, I think, or at least I really hope that we'll see Sebastian and Ciel like growing and becoming better and because Sebastian is responsible for this very traumatized child, right? And he takes care of him, feeds him, you know, helps him with anything he needs help with. So I'm really hoping for a better ending than the premise implies that there will be when we do eventually get to the end. But there's also some other supernatural elements, and like you have crime and stuff, and like I said, it trigger warnings, like just be careful with that. But I really enjoy it. I think it's fun. And I'm really enjoying reading through the manga. So now that I have these, I have a straight shot all the way through to volume 32, and so I'm just working my way through them. So there are a couple of other manga we're going to look at, but first I did get two other books from Books A Million that are not manga or manhwa. The first one is The Dragons of Deepwood Fen, which is the first book in the Book of the Holt by Bradley P. Bolio? Bolio? I really am not sure how to say that. I'm so sorry. So again, we have another Dragon Rider book. I'm very excited. There have been so many coming out lately, and it's just feeding my little dragon-loving soul. I love it. Whew, okay. Lorelei Aurelius is the smartest inquisitor in the city of Ancris. When a mysterious tip leads her to a clandestine meeting between the church and the hated Red Knives, she uncovers a plot that threatens not only her home, but the Empire itself. The trail leads Lorelei to Ryan Holbrook, a notorious thief posing as a dragon singer. Rylan came to Ancris to solve the very same mystery she stumbled onto. Knowing his incarceration could lead to the war of independence the Red Knives have long sought, Lorelei makes a fateful decision. She frees him. Now banded as traitors, the two flee the city on Dragonback. In the massive forest known as the Holt, they discover something terrible. The Red Knives are planning to awaken a powerful demigod in the holiest shrine in Ancris, and for some reason the church is willing to allow it. Forced to return to Ancris, the unlikely allies must rally the very people who vowed to capture them before it's too late. So again, we have Dragon Riders, we have an unlikely team-up. This time we've got like religious stuff going on, political stuff. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of what this is going to be based on that synopsis, but really I just need to know Dragon Riders and I'm there. And also this cover is really cool. I want to know what this is that they're flying towards. I'm interested. I'm curious. So that is that one. And then the last few things I got from the manga sale. So I got volume 1 of Link Click, which is a manhwa adaptation of the TV show, which I did watch a couple episodes of recently, and I really liked it. And then I saw that the manhwa adaptation is coming out. And this is an interesting one because this is one where the donghua, or it's like Chinese anime, came out first, and then they adapted it into a manhwa, which is interesting. And also, look at how pretty. I was really pleasantly surprised by the quality of this book. It is so nice. It's hardcover. You can see the image without all the glitteries on the naked cover. It's just really nice. And it, I think, does use adapted images from the show as opposed to like a new style of illustration. But I don't know, it's fun. So if you've not heard of Link Click, essentially these two guys run a studio called the Time Photo Studio. It's a photography shop. Chung Xiaoxi and Lu Guang use their abilities to enter photographs so that they can find things or solve mysteries, because they can essentially go into I don't remember how long it is. It's a certain amount of time before the photo is taken. Or is it after the photo is taken? I think it's before the photo is taken. To like learn something about a person or solve a mystery or like locate an object that's supposed to be there. And so they're called time agents. So they can go in and help their clients to find something or learn something. So that's like the basic premise of it. And like I said, I've only seen a couple episodes from the first season, but so many people love it, and I thought it was really fun. So now that it's like out in this version, I do think since the show came first, I will watch the show first, but then I can also like look through this when I want and see it like in the book format, which I think is always fun. Then I got volume 3 of Lullaby of the Dawn by Ichika Yuno. So I do have the first 2 volumes of this, and this is an ongoing series. I think volume 3 is the most recent, or there might be volume 4 might be up for pre-order. It might be out. I'm not sure. But again, I like to read several volumes all together. But this one, we follow Elva, who has the white hair. He is one of the Kanagi, who are like these ageless warrior priests who protect their island and the people that live there, although most Kanagi are killed by their power. But Elva has this guy named Alto who swears himself to him and somehow is helping to cure him of the like sickness or weakness that his power is causing him. So we're following the 2 of them. I do think there is some romance. And I'm just really happy to have this so I can read the first 3 volumes all together. And then, if you've seen some of my one of my previous book hauls, you saw that I got volume 2 of this series from the Tokyo Pop sale. And then later, volume 1 never arrived, and I contacted them and they said that it was out of stock and they weren't going to be able to send it to me, so they refunded me. So I was able to get volume 1 of Springtime by the Window by, oh, where's the author's name? Oh, there it is. Suzuyuki, from the Books A Million manga sale. So it's a really, really short little blurb on the back, so we'll just read that real quick. Cool and collected second-year Yamada is in love with his childhood friend Seno. His classmates, Akama and Toda, are also starting to think about romance, though neither of them realizes yet that they might actually feel the same way about each other. So it's literally just a 2-volume series. It's just a duology, and it's just a cute little spring high school romance, which can be really fun. So now that I have both volumes, I'll be able to read them together and actually start it now that I have volume 1. And then the last book that I got from Books A Million I did order because I gave into the hype. I've been seeing so many people love this and it sounds so fun. So I couldn't resist. But that is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. If I'm not already making an order, it's a lot easier to not buy stuff. But if I'm already making an order and there's something I want, it's a lot harder to resist temptation. And in this case, I failed. But look at how pretty. And look at the back. It's so pretty. And I've heard so many people really like this. So I just did it. I just got a copy. It says, what dark secrets lie hidden in the spirit wood? Liska knows that magic is monstrous and its practitioners are monsters. She has done everything possible to suppress her own magic, to disastrous consequences. Desperate to be free of it, Liska flees her small village and delves into the dangerous, demon-infested spirit wood to steal a mythical fernflower. If she plucks it, she can use its one wish to banish her powers. Everyone who has sought the fernflower has fallen prey to unknown horrors, so when Liska is caught by the demon warden of the wood, called the Lesi, a bargain seems better than death, 1 year of servitude in exchange for the fernflower's wish. Whisked away to the Lesi's crumbling manor, Liska soon makes an unsettling discovery. She is not the first person to strike this bargain, and all her predecessors have mysteriously vanished. If Liska wants to survive the year and return home, she must unravel her host's spool of secrets and face the ghosts, figurative and literal, of his past. Because something wakes in the woods, something deadly and without mercy, something that frightens even the Lesi, and it cannot be defeated unless Liska embraces the monster she's always feared becoming. This sounds so cool. It's like fairy tale, forest, fantasy, and we have a main character who is learning to like accept who she is. Our Lesi back here, I'm guessing, is going to be very misunderstood. Not as evil as he's painted out to be. And also the cover, part of this is just the cover is so beautiful. And like I'm just going to show it to you again while I talk. Because look at the details like in her dress and stuff. Oh my gosh. But it just sounds so cool. So like dark forest fairy tale vibes. I love stories that take place in the forest. I love it. And this just sounds so wonderful. So, so wonderful. So I'm so excited to read this. And I do think I'm going to read it this summer. Maybe like the end of summer. Because it leading into autumn. I don't know. I gave into the hype. And I'm not sorry at all that I did. Alrighty. So then I had 2 of my pre-orders come in from The Broken Binding. The first one is The Silver Blood Promise, which is the first book in The Last Legacy by James Logan. So this is just a special edition that they did of this book. It's not like one of their TBB press editions or anything like that. So I do think that this is just the standard cover art. But look at how pretty the sprayed edges are. So pretty. And then let me take the dust jacket off. This is really why I bought it. Like, sprayed edges are beautiful and nice, but I'm a sucker for artwork. And so we have the naked hardcover. And The Broken Binding was posting this all over their social media, and I am weak for beautiful art. Look at the end papers. Hold on. There's more. Look. And of course it is signed and numbered. I wasn't gonna order this, and then they just kept posting those pictures, and so when it went out for pre-order, like to the general public, I did. But it is beautiful. This is a genuinely beautiful book. And I mean, the cover art, like I said, I think this is just the standard cover art, and it's just gorgeous. It's so lovely. Lucan Gardova is a card-sharp academy dropout, and thanks to a duel that ended badly, the disgraced heir to an ancient noble house. His life consists of cheap wine, rigged card games, and wondering how he might win back the life he threw away. When Lucan discovers that his estranged father has been murdered by unknown assailants, he finds fresh purpose. Deprived of his chance to make amends for his mistakes, he vows to unravel the mystery behind his father's death. His search for answers leads him to Sophrona, fabled city of merchant princes, where anything can be bought if one has the coin. Lucan only seeks the truth, but instead he finds danger and secrets in every shadow. For in Sophrona, everything has a price, and the price of truth is the deadliest of all. So we have murder mystery in a fantasy setting, and I've heard so many people read this lately since it came out and love it, so I'm really excited to try it. Very, very excited, and I'm so happy I have this beautiful edition from The Broken Binding. And then the other pre-order that came in is Never Die, which is the first book in Mortal Techniques by Rob J. Hayes. So this is a TBB Press edition from The Broken Binding. So it's got these beautiful gilded edges, this alternate cover. When you take the cover off, it's got a cloth-bound naked hardback with this foiling on it. It's so pretty. And then, oh, let me show you the inside. The front end papers are actually the original cover art from the self-published edition. Oh, and the back end papers are as well, but with a different quote. And it is signed and numbered. So I've wanted to read Mortal Techniques for a while. The Broken Binding put this up or when they announced they were doing an edition of this, I was so excited because I love their TBB Press editions. The quality is just amazing, and they're always so pretty. And it just has a short little synopsis. It says, Ein is on a mission from God, the God of death. Time is up for the Emperor of 10 Kings, and it falls to Ein, an 8-year-old boy, to render the judgment of the Reaper. He can't do it alone, but luckily the world is full of traveling heroes. There's only one catch. In order to serve him, they must first die. So this is definitely like an Eastern Asian setting. And we have this little boy who has power over death and has been tasked with taking down this king. I don't know. I've heard a lot of praise for this series. I really hope that they do the matching editions for the other books, which I'm sure that they will, just at some point. I don't know how long it will take. But I'm really excited to read this one because, like I said, I've heard so many people like it, and I've wanted to read it for a while. It also has really pretty art. in this edition, so like we have this gorgeous map, and just, I'm going to try to find like an art piece that maybe hopefully isn't too spoilery. Yeah, so we have like some black and white art, and then I think there are also like color pieces in here, but yes, so I guess this isn't spoilery. So like, so we also have some full color art. So I did get one book from eBay this month, and it is in plastic. I'm going to have to take it out and like clean it up because it is like, I think an ex-library copy or something, and so it's got like sticker residue where the plastic is stuck to it, but if you can see it, I found a copy of Penrick's Demon by Lois McMaster Bujold. This is the first book in Penrick and Desdemona, which is the second series in the World of the Five Gods, and it is the only Penrick and Desdemona book that I needed. So I do collect the Subterranean Press editions of these books, and I had all of the others that I have bought used from various places, usually eBay. And this was the last one I needed, and it has been impossible to find, especially for a reasonable price. I did end up paying more for this than I wanted to, but it was literally the only one that I could find that was somewhat reasonable. So I'm really excited to have this. I don't really know much about the premise except we follow Penrick, who is a young sorcerer or magician, and his familiar Desdemona. And that's really all that I know, but this is my exception to my series rule, because I love these covers, and I'm really interested in reading The World of the Five Gods. I have the book, or The Curse of Shalion, which is the first book in the first series in this world, and I really hope I like these, but even if I don't, I'm going to keep them, and someday someone in my family will hopefully like them, but I do think that I will, because even not knowing a lot about it, I already kind of love Penrick. So hopefully that continues as I get into the series. But I'm so happy that I was able to get this, because now I have all the ones that are currently out, and there is a new one coming out, and Subterranean Press did acknowledge that they are going to make an edition. They're just not sure when it will be released. And then I got a book from the Folio Society. So if you don't know, the Folio Society recently released their summer lineup for this year. And I don't often buy books from them because they are so expensive. But this one, I almost died when they announced it. And it wasn't that expensive. It wasn't nearly as expensive as I thought it was going to be. And it came with a slipcase, which I did not know it was going to come with. But that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is another one where I collect all of the editions that I can. Oh my god. Look at it. Look at it. Look at them. It's so pretty. It's got beautiful gilded edges. I have already read this. This is one of my... or no. Oh, are they only gilded on the top? Was that a mistake? Is mine messed up? Maybe I should look into that. But this is one of my favorite books of all time. I have already read this book. I love it so much. And I did already look through, because this is illustrated by Julie Dillon. So I have already looked through it, all of the illustrations. And it just... let me find a colored illustration to show you. Okay. Look at them. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, I just was so excited to see this, and it wasn't nearly as expensive as I thought it would be, and it didn't take long at all to come in, so I'm so happy to add this to my collection. I'm so happy. Then I had a pre-order of a series come in from Fox and Wit, and that is Lore and Lust by Carla Nicole. So here we have book 1. And as I said, these are the Fox and Wit editions. So they have really pretty alternate art on the dust jacket, and then foil on the naked hardcovers. And the first book, I think, is signed. It might be a printed signature, but it does have the author's signature in there. Then there's book 2, The Vanishing. And books 2 and 3 are actually from their Foxglove imprint, so I'm assuming they had done a prior release of book 1 by itself. And then once Foxglove was, created and doing the second and third books, they just did a reprint of book 1. But books 2 and 3 have pretty end papers on them. And book 3, The Awakening. The art is so pretty. Oops. I dropped the dust jacket. And then the end papers for book 3. So I'm only going to read the synopsis for the first book, obviously. But this is like vampire romance, so... Haruka is alive, but not quite living. Surviving, but not thriving. As an elite, purebred vampire in the 21st century, he is broken, content in his subpar existence. He is done with life, but life is not finished with him. When he receives a formal request to oversee an antiquated vampire ritual at Hertzmonsu Castle, Haruka grudgingly leaves his home to meet another purebred. The vampire is not what he expects. Truly, he is unlike any vampire Haruka has ever encountered. Cautious, innocent, and with the warmth and gravitational pull of the sun. It's so cute. So we have, obviously, mental health issues going on in here. We've got some depression with Haruka. It sounds like he is really kind of going through it emotionally, which I imagine that living for, innumerable years as a vampire is probably quite difficult. And so he's kind of like given up, but then he meets this other vampire who is like everything that he thought vampires couldn't be, perhaps, and there's going to be romance. And, it just sounds so good. I'm so excited. So like I said, these were pre-orders that I had ordered a while ago, and they finally arrived this month, and I'm really excited. This one is giving me like definitely maybe summer vibes. And then the second book is very autumnal, and book 3 looks very springy. So maybe I'll try to get to this one this summer and then fall in the next spring. Might be the plan. We'll see. But I'm very, very excited to read these. They sound so fun. I love, I've said before, I love a good romance, and these are so cute. Like Fox and Wit, sometimes their dust jackets are just so precious. Look at them. They're just so pretty. So I'm really, really happy to have these. And then I got the May book from Owlcrate's young adult subscription. So I do have a subscription with them. I am on their wait list for their adult book only box, but I do sometimes skip the books when I'm not necessarily interested in them, or alternatively if I'm interested in them but not enough to pay for a special edition. And I love that Owlcrate allows you to do that. That's like a wonderful feature that they have in a service that they offer. I love being able to skip when I need to. But this month's book, I did not skip. And it is Song of the Six Realms by Judy I. Lin. So this is beautiful. Now, the original cover is also quite pretty. You can see it right there. This artist, I'm not sure who it is, but I love their art style. And they've illustrated a number of other book covers that I have just adored. So nothing against like the original cover at all. I love it. But I love how Owlcrate is going so all out on these alternate covers lately. Because I was subscribed to them back when I was in undergrad. And they really, all that they would do is just do alternate color schemes for the covers, which was still cool. But then now they're doing like completely different covers, and I think that's amazing. But just look at how pretty that is. So pretty. And then they also will sometimes do like art on the back of the dust jacket as well, which is also quite pretty and in a very different art style, which I think is fun. Then we have the naked hardback, which is also beautiful, and the in paper art. So we have the front end papers and the back end papers, and it is signed by the author, and we have really pretty like rose gold gilded edges. So I'm very pleased with this one, if you can't tell. And it also has a little ribbon bookmark. Xue. I really wish that when people wrote Chinese names in pinyin, they would put the accents. It would make my life so much easier. Especially since I'm not fluent in Mandarin. I'm learning, but I still struggle sometimes with knowing how to pronounce it if the accents aren't there. And this, anyway, that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. Xue, a talented young musician, has no past and probably no future. Orphaned at a young age, she was taken in by her kindly poet uncle, who arranged for an apprenticeship at one of the most esteemed entertainment houses in the kingdom. She doesn't remember much from before entering the House of Flowing Water, and when her uncle is suddenly killed in a bandit attack, she is devastated to lose her last connection to a life outside of her indenture contract. With no family and no patron, Xue is facing the possibility of a lifetime of servitude playing the qin for nobles that praise her talent with one breath and sneer at her lowly social status with the next. Then one night she is unexpectedly called to the garden to put on a private performance for the enigmatic Duke Meng. For a young man of nobility, he is strangely kind and awkward, and surprises Xue with an irresistible offer. Serve as a musician in residence at his manor for just 3 years, and he'll set her free of her indenture. But the Duke's motives become increasingly more suspect when he and Xue barely survive an attack by a nightmarish monster, and when he whisks her away to his estate, she discovers he's not just some country noble. He's one of the divine rulers of the celestial realm. There, she learns that the 6 realms are on the brink of disaster, and incursions by demonic beasts are growing more frequent. The Duke needs Xue's help to unlock memories from her past that could hold the answers to how to stop the impending war. But first, Xue? Is it Xue like Xu Yang? Xu Yang? That's how I'm going to say it. Xue will need to survive being the target of every monster and deity in the 6 realms. Alright, so we've got some Chinese mythology. It's definitely like based in ancient China, mythical, magical ancient China, because she plays the Guqin or the Qin, and I know I'm probably saying that wrong, and I'm so sorry. Like I said, I am not fluent. And I think there's going to be romance. We have like deities and stuff. I don't know. I think it just sounds really fun. It's beautiful. And I love Chinese fiction. And I don't think this was originally written in Chinese. I think it was originally written in English, but it does have that setting. And I've heard a lot of praise for Judy Lynn's series. What is it called? The Book of Tea. So I'm really excited to try this one, and I'm really glad Crate chose this for their May book. Alright, so we are finally at the last set of books. These are books that I got from Waterstones, which unfortunately I am probably not going to order from Waterstones much anymore because they are canceling the use of stamps for non-UK customers. So if you're an international customer of Waterstones, I think starting in June you will no longer be able to use your stamps on any purchase that is not made in store or being shipped to a UK address, which is so unfortunate. And especially because I found out Blackwell's, so I started really using Waterstones, and I will still probably use them for some of their special editions. I don't typically get Waterstones exclusives unless it's just something that like is one of those books, you know? But I started using them for UK covers when Book Depository went out of business. However, now that I know that Blackwell's has free US shipping, they are going to be my go-to. And I wish I would have known that before I placed this order in April, but alas, I did not. And so I did get these 4 books. So I did get an entire series, so I did break my series rule because there are reasons. I love these covers so much more than the US covers, which are still really cool, but these just really fit my sort of aesthetic. And so I wanted to get them before they were no longer in print or no longer available or whatever the case may be. And that is the entire series for The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. Now, here was my compromise to myself for justifying this. The Broken Binding did a new edition of these, but with a different color scheme. So it is a like dark blue and purple color scheme, and it's very, very pretty. But this color scheme, the green and the pinks, I love it. Aesthetically, I think it is so pleasing to look at, and I think it fits the sort of like Chinese, Japanese sort of vibe that I'm getting from the covers. I haven't read the books, so I don't know if that applies to like the series itself or not. And so I told myself, you know what? You are not getting the midnight editions, which are also much more expensive. So you can splurge and just order the entire series from Waterstones. And they are in paperback because unfortunately they didn't have some of them in hardback available to order, but that's okay. So I did get all 4 books. So we have The Grace of Kings, The Wall of Storms, The Veiled Throne, and Speaking Bones. And again, I just wish I would have gotten these from Blackwell's with the free shipping, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm just really happy to have these covers. And I do plan on reading the series soon because I'm just really excited. I know that Patrick Leo loves it. Murphy Napier, I think, also loved it. I don't know. I just have heard so much praise, and then when I read the synopsis, I was like, ooh, that sounds really cool, actually. And then the covers are just beautiful. Emperor Mappadere Emperor Mappadere was the first to unite the island kingdoms of Dara under a single banner. But now the emperor is on his deathbed, his people are exhausted by his vast conscriptive engineering projects, and his counselors conspire only for their own gain. Even the gods themselves are restless. A witty, charismatic bandit and the vengeance sworn son of a deposed duke cross paths as they each lead their own rebellion against the emperor's brutal regime. Together they will journey to the heart of the empire, witnessing the clash of armies, fleets of silk-draped airships, magical books, and shape-shifting gods. Their unlikely friendship will drastically change the balance of power in Dara, but at what price? So that's the synopsis for the first book, The Grace of Kings. I do think, if I'm understanding it right, and I don't want to look at the synopses for the others, because I don't want to spoil myself, but I do think there's like a time skip maybe in this series. I'm not sure. But the first book synopsis really got me. We've got this unlikely friendship, which I'm always a sucker for the found family. And we have some steampunk with airships and stuff, which I love to see. We have magical books, shape-shifting gods. The cover gives me a very certain vibe that is hard to describe, but that is just right up my alley. I don't know. I'm just really excited to try this, and it is a very long, these are very long books, but that's okay. I like a good series. I like a good long book, and I'm really excited to read this. So that is The Dandelion Dynasty, and those are the last 4 books that I got in the month of May. So it was a lot. It was a lot of books, I know. But as I mentioned earlier, I am kind of restricting myself at this point. I think I talked about this in my physical TBR video that came out recently. And so I do think that I'm going to try to restrict my book buying a bit, not necessarily say that I'm not going to buy any more books, because that's just unrealistic. There are special editions that come out of books that I love or I'm really interested in that I'm really going to want to get. There are series that I'm in the middle of or plan on starting that I will then potentially need to get more books that either come out or already out, just so I can continue the series. And occasionally I will allow myself, if there's a book that I'm just so excited for because of the author or because just the premise has really just gotten a hold of me, to maybe like pre-order it or get a copy, you know, especially if I find it very cheap. But I'm really going to try not to buy so many books, just because I do want to give myself the opportunity to really enjoy the books that I have. Now I do still have a number of books on pre-order, just always, whether special edition or not. Like, I keep a list on my phone of all of the books that I'm waiting on, of anything that I have on order, so that I can keep track of like where it is, when it's coming, all of that stuff, because I'm OCD and I like lists. So I do still have a number of books that are going to come out throughout the year and even into next year. But as far as like actually continuing to make purchases, I'm going to try to be more selective for at least the rest of this year. So that way, like I said, I can just really focus on enjoying the books that I have and that I've been so excited to read, and just, I don't know, that's just kind of my plan. So book hauls will be a little smaller from here on out. Like I said, though, there are still books that will be coming in. And there are still some special editions that I know are coming out that I'm going to want to get. So, but we'll see. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope it was fun. If you have read any of these books and you think that I'm really going to like them, or you're excited for me to read them, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Or are there any books that you've bought recently that you're really excited to read? I'd love to hear about that too. I know I just said I'm going to be restricting my book buying, but I keep a continuous list of books that I'm interested in that just grows longer all the time. And so I would love to hear what you are excited about. Or if you just want to leave an emoji, why don't we do a mermaid or a merman for my merfolk books, and for the beginning of summer, because for me June is the beginning of summer. I know it's still technically spring for a couple weeks, but it's the beginning of summer. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are having a wonderful day or a wonderful night wherever you are and whatever you're doing, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!